Welcome everybody and thank you for joining us today. My name is Andrew Sinclair and I'm the Business Development Manager in the commercial team for Northumbrian Water, and I'm going to kind of host today's National Apprenticeship Week questions and answer session. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to get everybody to introduce themselves, just to give a little bit of information on who's on the screen, and we'll continue on from questions from there. So if we start with Alison.
Hello, just in case you can hear any background noise, I have got children around here today. But my name's Alison and I work in early careers at Northumbrian Water, and part of my role is to support the apprentices during their development at our organisation, but also the recruitment process with that as well.
And Alex?
Morning everyone, I'm Alex and also work in early careers, and the focus that we are really looking at the minute is around how do we attract, and not just attract from the usual universities and colleges, but how do we attract from different areas of the country, because we're not just northeast based, we are Essex and Suffolk. And then also, once we attract, what are the opportunities within Northumbrian Water Group through apprentices, through sponsored placements, through undergrads, and then how do we support them through that journey? So what's their learning journey look like? So I'm very excited to be on here today. Thank you.
And Erin.
Yeah, morning everyone. I'm Erin Price and I work in the same team as Alison and Alex at Northumbrian Water, and my role is really focusing on making sure again that we make Northumbrian Water a really attractive employer so that people want to come to work for us, and then once you're in you have a brilliant time at work, you enjoy it, you learn a lot, and that you can develop your career at Northumbrian Water.
Brilliant. We've also potentially got a couple of our apprentices at the minute who are going to join us, but we've had a few IT issues this morning, as is the way forward now. So Emily's on there, and I'm going to unmute her mic, and I'm hoping that if that unmutes.
So I'm Emily. I'm an apprentice in the water distribution network based down in Teesside, and I've been with the business for touching 18 months now, and I'm halfway through my diploma for water engineering.
That's brilliant. We're glad we've managed to at least get your microphone working this morning to get you on there, and hopefully James might be able to join us in a few more minutes as well. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of move on to the frequently asked questions. So these are the questions that we get asked a lot. We just thought this was a pretty good place to start. But again, just remember this is about you. It's not about us just telling you about us. So if you've got questions, if you type them into that questions box, they'll pop up, and I'll make sure they get answered either at the end, or I'll slot them in where I think is appropriate. So the first question that we get asked a lot about is sort of like, why are apprenticeships important at NWG?
Yeah, so apprenticeships are hugely important to us as a business. We're really committed to making sure that we have apprenticeship opportunities and that we can give people a really good career working in the water industry. So we have people in our business who've worked with us for decades and have a huge amount of knowledge in what they do, and we want to make sure that we build a workforce for the future. So we have people who are excited about working in the water industry, can come in, can learn from all the people in our business who've got a huge amount of experience, and if you want, spend your career with us. So it's about building a workforce for the future. I also think that apprentices come into our business with fresh ideas. Everyone's coming from different backgrounds, different levels of experience, and you play a huge part in making us think about things differently. So when someone's talking to you about how we do a particular job, apprentices are brilliant at asking the question, why do you do it that way? Could we do it in a different way? So we learn just as much from our apprentices as you learn from people who work in our business. So hugely important, and we're really kind of committed, and as I said, delighted that we've been able to provide apprenticeship opportunities kind of year on year for people in a variety of different areas of the business, which I'm sure we'll share more about during this webinar.
Brilliant. So one of the questions that we do get asked quite a lot is like, sort of, how many apprentices do we take on a year? Because obviously we're a reasonably large business, and I suppose that's probably one of the questions. What's the opportunity for me? So how many apprenticeships do we generally take on?
So over the last few years, since we embarked on the apprenticeship programs, it's increased year on year, which is fantastic. And that's down to our apprentices, because if it wasn't working for us, we wouldn't want to take more on. So over the last few years, we've gone from from a 5 to a 6 in 1 year. 2019 we had 16. And then last year, 2020, we had 18 apprentices, which is fantastic. And they're starting with us now in that program. Is exactly what Erin was saying there. It's about understanding what they need from us, but also they share with us what we need as well. It's fantastic.
We've just had a question actually come in from one of the delegates in the audience. What they've asked is, will we have apprenticeships for 16-year-old school leavers?
So Alison, I don't know if you want to answer that one, because we've had it in the past. We have had a range of to be fair, there is no limit at all for ages from 16 right the way up to, dare say, 90 odd, if you wanted to. If
You're
really
right, the
fancied it.
restrictions have all been taken off for apprenticeship, so absolutely anybody can join us. The only thing I would say is in our engineering roles where you need to drive a vehicle, obviously you need to have a driver's license, so some of the roles will be restricted with age in that you'd need a driving license to be able to apply, but there are definitely other roles available for people to apply for.
Cool. We've got another question that's come in actually, which kind of ties in with one of the frequently asked questions. So what they've asked is, are apprenticeships just for trade, or can you do apprenticeships in different areas of the business as well?
Yeah, in all directorates. So Northumbrian Water is absolutely huge, and I think everybody thinks of us, you know, as the company that you see when we're digging up the road or when we're fixing the pipes. But actually, there's so many different areas around that as well. So we have human resources, we have a whole customer team, communications department, finance, IS, and we have apprenticeships in all of these different areas, whether it's our team colleagues that are upskilling and learning something new, or whether it's bringing new people into the business. So it's not just for trade. There's two people on here that have done an apprenticeship, isn't that right, Andrew? So me and you, I think, have recently studied.
I'm still in the middle. Well, yeah, I think I'm pretty well. I'm not quite in the middle. I'm almost at the middle of mine. So yeah, I've started doing an apprenticeship on a digital support technician, which is quite different to the role that I normally do. So as I mentioned before, I'm in the commercial department of NWG, where we support customers, business customers, with their sort of water requirements and needs. And yeah, I'm doing a digital support one because I'm normally the person who people come to and say, my computer's broken, can you give us a bit of a help before they go to our IS team? So it's working out really good. And, you know, I didn't think I'd be starting an apprenticeship when I'm sort of pretty much on 40. So it probably dispelled some of the myths that I had around that as well from my time in education, when you kind of had two routes, which was either you went to university or you went down an apprenticeship or a YTS, I think we called them back in those days. And those were only really the two routes. And, you know, there was very much a push for university education when I was at that age. So I fell down that road more than had a desire to go down it. And actually, on reflection, if I'd went down an apprenticeship route, I don't think I would be any different to where I am now, because the degree that I got, oddly enough, it's in how to treat water, and I've never used it while I've worked in business. I've always worked in a commercial environment, so it just goes to show you the kind of the breadth and diversity of job opportunities at NWG and kind of the routes that you can take to get there. But yeah, it's good fun. I've really enjoyed it. So I suppose the next one is so what would be the process for somebody watching today? What would be the process of an apprenticeship opportunity opening up? What would they do as far as applying, and then what's the kind of the journey that they would go on to get to the end of that apprenticeship, I guess?
We've got quite a pretty easy recruitment process, so we try to make things as simple as possible here, and you can apply for any role at Northumbrian Water Group within 3 minutes. That's one of the claims that we have. So all you need is to put in your CV. As far as apprenticeship goes, what we're looking for is the right people with the right attitude that really match our business, really want to do well, think creatively, are innovative, and want to be the best. And we assess that with a gamification tool called Arctic Shores. So we can understand who you are and how you would work in our business just by playing a game. And that's one of the things we ask you to do at the moment. So you need to put a CV on, and you need to be able to play a game. And yeah, that's about it really.
Brilliant. I think I should try and play that game, but then I'd be worried about the rule. Yeah.
I don't know if Emily wants to share her.
Emily,
how she felt.
So like Alison has said, I just applied through Indeed. I just saw the advertisement on Indeed, just looking for something brand new. My CV got put forward and accepted, and then like you said, the Arctic Shore game, didn't know what to expect, didn't know what people were looking for, didn't know should I give up on this game or should I not, but then I realised at the end of it, it was a way of just seeing your personality and seeing how you work with people. So once you've gone forward from that, it was fun from the beginning. And then when we went forward from the game, then we were asked to come in for like an interview day where we had to do like group tasks. And from the minute we got in the door, it was just fun and relaxing, and all your nerves went as soon as you went through the door. And just seeing the range of people there was just I was blown away really, because I thought being older and being a woman, that it was going to be just college age there, and it wasn't. It was just a wide range of people from different backgrounds. So thoroughly enjoyed every part of it, to be fair.
Oh,
brilliant.
That's great to hear. I think it was interesting because Emily and I were having a chat yesterday, and I think one of the things that you brought up, Emily, was the fact that you were almost hesitant to apply because you kind of felt it might be a kind of a more male-dominated field that you were sort of the apprenticeship was for, and it was kind of you had a bit of a different experience, I think, when you went down that journey.
Yeah, exactly. I think we both said, when I finished school, it was pushed forward. If I was going to do an apprenticeship, with me being a girl, it would have been hairdressing or beauty, and the lads would have gone and done a trade if they weren't wanting to go to college and go down that apprenticeship route straight from school age. So for me to then apply at 34 as a woman, I was very hesitant to do it. But then when I read on the background and looked into Northumbrian Water, it was all about diversity, all about getting people from different backgrounds. And I just felt like when I walked in that room and saw that big group of people from all over the Northeast, and everyone had different jobs, and I just thought, well, yeah, we've all got a chance here, regardless of your background, regardless of your gender. So I would really, really push for people to just go out of the comfort zone and just go for it. There's nothing to lose, really.
And just to add there, obviously thank you, Emily, for sharing your experience, because we do want it to be, I guess, as easy as possible for people to apply. And then when they have an experience with us, if they're coming along for interview, that they kind of enjoy it. I know it can be really nerve-wracking, but that we make you feel at ease so that you can actually enjoy that experience. And when Alison's talking about your CV, again, don't be put off by that. There's templates on Google that you can use. Really, the CV is about us trying to get a bit of a sense of who are you as a person, what are your strengths. So if you don't have any work experience or loads of work experience, don't be put off. Put as much information as you can on a CV, and we're much more interested in the person rather than anything else to do with skills. Or obviously you're not going to know how to do the job. That's the whole part of an apprenticeship, is that you come in and we teach you. But if you've got a really open mindset, if you're interested to learn and kind of want to put your all into this, then that's the kind of person that we're looking for.
Yeah, no, that's great. There's literally a question came through as you were answering that one, Erin, where it was saying, so what kind of things are you looking for in a school leaver's CV? Because due to COVID, there's just no opportunities for those kids who've been kind of stuck in this kind of thing for a year where they haven't been able to go out and get that experience. But I think the thing that we'll probably want to get across the most today around that is it's about you as an individual, not what tickets or certificates you've got on the end of it. That has a place, but in reality, what we want people who want to work for NWG and sort of fit with our visions and values, and how does that set with yours as well as an individual. So don't be worried or concerned about sending the CV in. Just send the CV in and then come in and be yourself, because that's what's going to win you the position. It's about you, not about the CV. That's just a thing that we need to kind of start introducing ourselves to people. So brilliant. So I suppose we're hoping to have James on as well today, but I think he's stuck in snow, which if you're in the northeast and you're looking out your window, it's varying in different places. But I suppose, Emily, if you wouldn't mind sort of giving us a kind of day in the life of what you do as part of your apprenticeship.
Yeah, that's fine. So basically, I took on the water network side. So there's 4 specific roles which I'm learning I'm in the middle of it, over 3-year course. So basically, I'll go off the first role, which is distribution technician, which is the face-to-face customer service. So if anybody's at home and they don't have water coming through the taps, we'll be the ones who go and try and figure out why. Is there any leaks? Is there anything stopping that water coming through that we can fix there and then? If we can't fix it, then we'll get some support from senior technicians, and we'll do some investigation on the network around the house and around the area, and then we'll see if we can locate if there's any issues, any leaks, for instance, and the team would then come along and fix that. So basically, you get up and you're in your van for about 7:30 for your first job for 8 o'clock. And then your jobs will come through as appointments. That's for distribution technician. And then you just have to make sure that you're reporting back what you're finding everywhere you go. And you're finishing up home by about 4:15. But the job is especially the job that I'm doing, so different every day. And because I'm learning, it's just so exciting to go out and to see what the day is going to bring. And the people that I've met and the people that are training me, like you said, we've been in the company for some of them 40 odd years. So the amount of knowledge they have, we've been pushed to try and take as much knowledge as we can off them before they get to that point where they retire and leave with it. So I think it's really interesting, and I suppose that would be with every job role that you offer as an apprentice. It won't just be the field work, it would be, like you said, Alison, there's so many different jobs, isn't there?
740, I think it is, in the organisation.
Yeah.
My word.
From geohydrologists to bat conservationists, it's just fantastic. So many opportunities. I often wonder about bat cons. Could I do that? Maybe one day I might progress.
Funnily enough, I had a job that I was dealing with where we had to involve our conservation team because there was great crested newts involved in it, so we had to go through quite a few hoops and ladders before we could put spades in the ground and things like that. So it just goes to show you again that kind of breadth of opportunity that we offer. And I think one thing that I would probably say as well is with I've been in the business for quite a while, and the amount of opportunities once you're in a particular role to go and do something else as a secondment for 12 months or 18 months to go and try something new, and that can lead to other avenues that can take you into different departments. So don't think that, if you're going to go through an apprenticeship to do one particular role, that's going to be your role and that's your trajectory for the rest of your career. It isn't where we are. There's plenty of opportunity to kind of come in and say, well, I like doing that, but I'd like to try this, moving across to that, and then that might be your career path, or you might even move again. I know people in the business who rarely stay in the same role for kind of more than 2 to 3 years. They just go and do different things. So don't think that it's just once you're in, that's your job and that's the path you've got to follow. There's plenty of other opportunities in there as well. So it's always worth kind of bearing that in mind when you're starting out on your journey with our business.
Just to add to that, Andrew, I think that is the huge benefit of it, because you might be sitting going, well, what Emily's talked about sounds really interesting, or you might think, I'd want to do something a bit different, and that's what the apprenticeship gives you. For a lot of them, it's that rotation where you can spend time doing different roles and go, that's not for me, didn't enjoy that for whatever reason, but I learned a lot, but move into something and go, this is exactly what I want to do. And you don't often get the chance to do that with other things. You usually just apply for a role and you're in doing it. But as Andrew said, you have so much flexibility to think about what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, so that you can end up in a job that's actually the right job for you, that kind of plays to your strengths. I think that's definitely something to think about with apprenticeships.
Mm-hmm. I think from a apprenticeship side, obviously when you're applying to it, you think, oh God, I don't know nothing about that. It's totally out of my league. I'm not scientific, I'm not a technician, I'm not an engineer. But the amount of training that you go through, and obviously I'm getting put through my diploma, it's just brand new learning, and you never feel uncomfortable on the job. You're well supported, and when you're actually physically doing that work, you see why you've been taken on for that role, if that makes sense. Like, it suits your personality. If you're customer service based, that's why you've got that side of the job. But then on the other side, if you think, oh, well, I actually prefer this role, or my strengths lie with that, managers are all open to that and just saying, you know, if that's the route that you would like to go down, then go down it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my experience in that has always been that my line managers always kind of took the opinion of kind of, hopefully we don't want to lose you, Andy, because you're brilliant. That would be nice. But actually, if this isn't for you, or you want to go and try something new, I will support you all the way to get you where you want to be, because at the end of the day, you being happy and doing what you do is more important. So that's what we need. And if everybody's happy and doing jobs that they love, then, you know, the business thrives from that in of itself as well. We've got a question that's come through. Maybe it's more for me and you, Alison, this one, where it says, so how do you work through an apprenticeship alongside doing your current role?
Good question.
Yeah, it is. Think about how to answer it.
It will be for Emily as well, and
Yeah.
I think James has just joined us, Andy. I don't know if you can see that, so I don't know if James wants to introduce himself and maybe see if he can answer the question, because our apprentices all attend, not college, the training provider comes in and they attend that together in blocks of, I think it's 1 week. James, do you want to help me with that?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Sorry for being late. I've been having a nightmare in the snow. So my name's James Martin. I've been in the company now over a year, about a year and 3 months coming up. Like water networks operations, so I'm out and about most days, solving problems. And so yeah, that was a quick introduction to who I am. And going back to the question, it's been good. So what we do is, alongside our day-to-day role and our jobs, we have been 4 days a month. We've been attending like a Zoom online diploma course, and we've been set time each month to have these sessions online, where it's a bit like online learning, and that links in with our job roles, because as part of that qualification, we have to gather evidence and write up reports about what we do on the job. So the balance of the day-to-day job and the qualification side and the coursework side along that matches in and goes together quite well. And again, the company and the managers have all been then supportive, where if you need a bit of time to get yourself on the computer, then there's no issues with that. So it's been quite good to do the college work and the course side along with the day-to-day job, and it all goes in hand with learning together.
Thank you. I suppose it's worth saying as well that all apprenticeships are different. So some you may need to go into college, and some you might do online studies, but some also might be learning a new skill, or gaining new knowledge whilst you're on the job. And all of our managers are very supportive of making sure that everybody can do whatever they need to do to continue with their apprenticeship.
So Alison, how did you do yours then in between? Because you and Andrew were very similar, where you were doing your job and then you did your apprentice. So how did you cope with it? How did you manage?
A lot of hard work. So taking every minute when I can and working efficiently as possible. But because I had to go to college for around about 6 hours a week, and then I had assignments to do on top of that. So trying to apply as much knowledge as you can in work and to do that as well. But it does take a big commitment, and you do have to work hard, but it's definitely worth it at the end. So it does feel worth it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's for mine. I started mine in the kind of like September of last year, so it was already in the full midst of COVID, so everything was online, which I think probably made it easier for me because I tend to like to do mine later on at night, so it's kind of like once kids are to bed and things like that, it's a bit quiet, and you know I've got customers I need to deal with during the day, so I tend to do bits and pieces at night, but then I'll fit it into where I've got a little bit of a break, or if something's been cancelled out my diary, I'll just do a quick hour here and a quick hour there. So although it's kind of like you get effectively 8 hours a week to do it, I chunk it into bits, and I think Alison's right, it's kind of just being efficient with your time has been great. But because it's online, I can kind of, if a meeting finishes 15 minutes early, I can jump on and just do a couple of things, and then I can go back to my next meeting. So it's that online bit has made it really easy for me to do. So I've enjoyed it. Plus it's something that I enjoy anyway. I'm a bit of a geek at heart, so it's kind of computers and things like that. It's right up my alley. So I don't, you know, it doesn't seem like work. It just seems like a good thing to do. So I suppose it's probably the last question that we've got, unless anybody wants to drop another one on the question board. But sort of, so what happens when you complete your apprenticeship?
So the great news is, so far we've had 100% retention rate. So all the apprentices that we've had, right starting way back in 2017, all the way through, and even some of that we've had recently have actually looked for permanent jobs within Northumbrian Water, which has been great. And we don't stop people from doing that. So we encourage that if there is something there that, like Erin was saying, if it's something a bit different where you think, actually, I'm probably more suited to that role, then we encourage that as well. So we have people who join with us, and you may not end up being in that role, as we said before, that the end, right? If you do a water technician role, you might not end up doing that, but you will end up, there will be something. If you are doing the right thing and your behaviours are the right kind of things that we're looking for, the passion's there, your curiosity's there, they're the kind of key things that we look for anyway when we look to recruit. Then we will make sure that your support is to get a fixed position at the end of your apprentice. Definitely, because we want to keep you. We've got to put all this effort into you. We want you. We want to keep you here.
Exactly. We've had another one come through, and I think it's probably applicable across the board. But how do more mature employees hear about apprenticeships and which ones are available? So I suppose, how do we advertise them out?
Yeah.
So again, whenever we've got opportunities for apprenticeships, or we realise that there's certain skills that we need in the business that we might not have, then we'll promote our apprenticeship opportunities in the usual way, whether that be through our internal newsletters or our intranet site. The exciting thing with that is that we are looking at the moment about what kind of upskilling opportunities there are. So for people already at Northumbrian Water, how can they do an apprenticeship? And we should be going out in around June time to share what those opportunities could look like, along with other development opportunities in the business. So, Northumbrian Water and is interested in apprenticeships, get in touch with one of us, and we can obviously talk to you about that in a bit more detail.
Excellent. I suppose one of the other things is as well, we've got obviously the on our website. So just to make things a bit clearer for people, so the company's Northumbrian Water Limited, but we operate in the northeast as Northumbrian Water, and in the southeast as Essex and Suffolk Water. So we kind of the NWL bit we kind of actually term as NWG, which is the group structure. So if you go on to Google or any other branded search engine of your choice, if you just type in there nwg.co.uk/careers, that will take you to the careers page. There's a lot of information on there as well about who we are, what we do, and there's also a link to the NWG Academy as well, so you'll be able to find some information through that, as well as jobs that we're just generally offering out as well. So just feel free to have a look on that as well. Just trying to think. I think that's the last of the questions that have come through, unless anything pop up, and we're kind of getting there to the end of our time anyway. So I suppose there's one last thing to kind of say is that obviously the team are here to help apprentices get into our business. So if you've got any questions, if you've got any queries, what you can do is if you drop an email to nwg.academy@nwl.co.uk, Alison and Alex will be able to pick that up and kind of point you in the right direction, or give you some support or suggestions on how best to join our company. there isn't any more questions in there, so I think we'll just probably draw that to a close. So, you know, thank you everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate you spending the time to learn a little bit more about us, and we shall say goodbye. So goodbye, everybody.
James and Emily.
Yes, thanks, James. Thanks, Emily.
Thank
Giving
you.
you a
Bye-bye.
pan out of snow.
Cheers now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.